Pressing the right button here somewhere.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
We're here, and welcome back to Ether. So this is Satomi and Paul from Sakaso.ca. Today is episode 97.
We're getting up there.
And the topic is, you have two minds. We have two minds. We all have two minds. Yeah. So we're gonna maybe dig in deep or start to dig in deep.
It's a big subject, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And,
so we might have other ones, but we'll see. Yeah.
But we are aware or not, we do. All of us have two minds. So what?
So what is that? Yeah, what do we mean by that? Right?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk, and then why we're talking about it.
Why is it important?
Yeah, because it is really, really important. And one is thinking this way, and the other one's thinking this way, and totally different things that they can think at the same moment, right? And it's happening in us, right?
Yeah, like it's even something simple like, we talk about changing our mind, right?
Changing our mind.
Right? Everybody, of course, right? You have that experience. But what's really going on is actually that it's more like we do have more than one mind. And which one...
jumping from one mind to the other and then going back.
Yeah, which one's talking?
Yeah.
Right? And what are we going to listen to? Which channel are we listening to, right, at any given time? Yeah. So we're all familiar with our normal thinking self, right? Our normal thinking, analyzing mind that we all have, our daytime mind. Problem solving, all that kind of stuff. And that's great, but it's not the only voice in the room. And we mentioned this a little bit about metote before, but we're going to focus on two voices in particular.
Yeah.
And in this conversation, in this way of looking at it. So what we got is a situation where there's our regular thinking mind. And then there's this other voice that comes in. So it's like, I want to relate to you and have fun, right, in our relationship and enjoy our time together. But let's say you say something that isn't really in keeping with that. Let's just put it that way. Like you'll say something that kind of cuts across that a little bit, right? Like I'm wanting to have fun or something like that in the moment, whatever it is. And you'll say something that's in a different vein. And I didn't want to hear that, right? And so maybe I just blow it off, but other times it might kind of catch on to something like what's going on. And then like I don't want to, if I don't want to hear the message that you're giving me, right.
When you having, I'm not clear, I'm trying to follow what you're saying. So you want to have fun, and I said something totally different that's not fun for you.
You'll say something like, "Are you being aware right now?" Right, something like that.
Okay.
Right, when I'm just maybe messing around with the kids or something like that, right? And you'll say, "Are you being aware right now?" And I'll be like, I was just trying to have fun here. And then like we've had some pretty strong conversations about this whole subject. And so that's a very different mood that would be brought in. And it's like, I'm going to resist, right? So that's typically what I do, right? So I'd be like, I'm just trying to have fun here. And then, and I'll resist what you're saying and like, I'm doing my thing and I want to keep doing that because I'm enjoying it. And what you're observing is that I'm creating suffering in some way that I'm not aware of. And you're like nodding your head a lot right now.
If
You know the
not,
scenario.
If it's not true, I wouldn't say
I know you wouldn't be going like this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
like, yeah, I mean, you are unbelievably aware, right? So I'm remarkably aware, and I do my best, but like, so then I'd be like, what's her deal, right? And then I can get angry, right? That's what comes forward for me is I get angry, and that can turn into a rather heated discussion, right, between us. I won't do it in front of the kids. I'll have some awareness, I guess, but not.
Or it could be ego.
Maybe not as much as you would like.
Right, ego is like I want to be a perfect person in front of kids, so I'm not gonna be.
There's
angry.
that, yeah.
So you don't know.
Yeah.
That's awareness or still ego.
Well, oh boy, here we go. So, I get like that, and I get angry. So what is going on there? So my expectations, pardon me. My expectations are that I can have fun, and that you'll come along on the ride, because that's what I'm used to, right? Is people doing that kind of thing. Some tea here.
So you're talking about two minds, right?
Yeah, and so what's going on there underneath is I'm being motivated by I'm afraid of the situation going somewhere I don't want it to go. Like, I'm afraid that the party will get pooped on, right? I'm afraid of us maybe having a fight, right? Those kinds of things, and that brings that then presents itself as fear for me, right? So
that's one mind. You're afraid.
One mind is just wanting to have fun or something, and the other mind is afraid of something. And afraid of the situation going off the rails, whatever, us having a fight, whatever. And so I get angry to try to stop the bad thing from happening as I see it. And I see you as the bad guy in the situation. And my mind wants to fight. I decided I want to have fun today. And I'm trying to do that. And then you're not going along with the plan, and so I'm afraid that the party's going to get pooped on, and then I get angry. So there's another voice in the room that I wasn't aware of, and all you need to do is just scratch the surface, right? Before that, I was totally unaware of that thing inside me, that
so
dynamic.
I'm still trying to follow. It's I'm not clear seeing two minds. It's though I know there are always two minds. It's not, but it's not clear. It could be like a switched. Sounds like you were having fun, and I said something, and switched to, instead of having two minds, you had this, and because I said something, it turned into this. It's
a mood in the same mind. Is that what you're wondering? If it
sounds like that.
No.
But when I said something, you were happy before, and then you got angry.
So that's what people. And I'm glad you bring that up, because that's very common. What people think is that no, I don't really. Maybe what you're saying is right, but it seems to me like it's still my mind. Right? So that's what you're saying, right? It's still the same me. Here I'm happy, here I'm getting annoyed, right?
That sounds like
changing my mind. Right? So that's what it sounds like. But it's really not what's going on. What's really going on is that I have underneath is this need for safety, for security, for keeping things as they are, and not messing with the system, not rocking the boat, because rocking the boat can be unsafe. So that's what's really going on is underneath. So I'm trying to have my party time over here, but underneath, and well, like actually, and I like to say, it's actually the elephant in the room is the subconscious mind. So that's the other mind. It's our conscious mind, and the second mind is the unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind is I like to say it's the elephant in every room that we ever go into, right? So it's always there, and people aren't necessarily aren't talking about it, and they may not even see it, what's going on in there, right? Not be aware of what's going on. So that mind wants to keep things, not rock the boat. The last thing, especially when you're dealing with people who in some way been traumatized in the past, or just they just don't want to have that. They don't like change. It's the unknown, right? All those reasons why it's better to keep things the same, right? And there's other reasons, but that whole mindset is coming from the subconscious of wanting to keep things the same, because keeping things the same is safe, because it doesn't matter. And this is what's driving the subconscious mind in great part is that here I am right now in this room. There may be this elephant, or may not be even aware of it, but I am here and alive right now, right? Doesn't matter if I'm unhappy, if it doesn't matter if I'm suffering, doesn't matter if I'm sick, or just a grumpy, unpleasant person. None of that matters. Stressed out, whatever. The only thing that matters is that I'm here and alive right now. That's what the subconscious mind cares about. So how do you keep things like that? You keep things the same, because
this moment you are alive, so
I'm alive.
you are doing something right.
Doing something right.
So
something
let's keep it this way.
Is right enough.
This moment was success.
Yes.
Being alive.
Yes.
So repeat this moment.
Yes.
And so that's what subconscious wants to do.
It's exactly what subconscious wants.
So that's the second mind.
Very powerful, right? Everybody talks about our instinct for survival, right? Our survival instinct, and how powerful that urge is, right? That is baked into the subconscious mind. That is that's where it comes from. That instinct for survival, subconscious, right? And so the energy around wanting the amount of ourselves that's invested in supporting the subconscious mind is enormous, way more than what we think. So we think we have all the decision making in our conscious mind. We're deciding, oh, hey, I want to have some fun and just good time right now. That's my decision. I'm deciding, let's play cards, or board game, or go outside and play, right? Go in the park, whatever, right? So those things are what I think is everything in my mind that's in control. That's my thinking mind, right? And it's very loud, and it's very proud, and it thinks it's in charge. It's not aware of that's the one mind, the number one mind, but it's not necessarily aware of at all, or taking into account the other mind, the subconscious that we're talking about here. So it's not that I'm changing my mind really. When you come into the picture and you say, hey, Paul, are you being aware right now? So like the way I'm interacting with the kids in the most healthy way, most whatever it is.
In the most healthy way, that by first mind.
Yeah. So I'm not being totally healthy, and you're bringing into the picture. You're tapping on my shoulder and saying, hey, are you being aware right now? Right. Because I can get carried away with myself. I've a bit of a character in the past, kind of thing. So I can get caught up in that ego-driven self, the number one mind. And then you come along, tap my shoulder, and say, hey, are you being aware? And then that then to me is the possibility of rocking the boat because I don't want to have a fight. I don't want to have anything to upset, to rock the boat in any way, to upset the balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not me changing my mind. It's actually a whole different part of me that's motivating the fear
Mm-hmm.
of things changing, and how that can, create
So
big problems.
just explain a little more. So when I say something,
Mm-hmm.
what happens on the surface?
That I'm aware of, or that
No, like you said,
it's really
I
going on.
don't want to rock. You don't want to rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
So, okay. So what happens is I start struggling right away with my fears of what could go wrong in the situation. It's like, wait, what does she mean? What am I not doing right? Or right,
Mm-hmm.
right, supposedly right, or what could result out of this? Could we end up in a fight later,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, right? Or just,
Mm-hmm.
am I gonna not be able to enjoy this time with the kids, right? That I wanted to have,
Mm-hmm.
So
So
those are fears that start rumbling around, and the way that I present that
mm-hmm.
is that I'm a little bit off
Mm-hmm.
center,
Mm-hmm.
at the very least,
Mm-hmm.
and then I start to get this part of me that starts thinking about, resisting you,
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you doing?
So I'll explain from my point of view when that happens, like let's say two situations. If those two minds are on the same page, right? That can happen, right? And two minds are on a different page, right? So when two minds are in different page, then suffering start to happen.
Yeah, that's
right?
where we have real troubles.
Right.
Yeah.
So when two minds are on the same page, right, and then you're having fun, and I said, "Hey, are you aware?" And I would say, "You thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna be aware," and then you can keep going. That's when the subconscious mind, second mind, is like okay, I'm gonna be more aware because that helps me and it empowers me and it creates a healthy atmosphere here. So that's the reaction I would get if two minds are on a different page, and then, like you're saying, second mind is in a fear mode. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want Satomi to say anything that I'm having fun, and then if she said something and you, the second mind's already in fight or flight, then how can I say it? So in fear mode and fight or flight, and it's ready to fight. If something's gonna try to change what I'm doing right now, it's a danger, right? And so I have to do something to protect myself and protect what's happening right now. And then I say something, hey, are you aware? And then anger comes, right? So because first mind and second mind are not first mind. I don't know. First mind is not aware of the second mind. I don't know. I'm explaining it clearly here. I'm having a little hard time. I know what's happening, but I don't know how clear I'm talking to the audience here. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Perhaps. So I can share some things. So, so the conscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's just thinking like it's kind of simple. The
Mm-hmm.
the math that occurs, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm having fun here.
Mm-hmm.
Tap on my shoulder. Are you being aware?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're the one who's pooping on the party
Mm-hmm.
in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and so then I get cross with you,
Mm-hmm.
and I might pay attention to what you're saying, or just get messed up by it, or um, just try to dismiss it and go back to what I was doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the conscious mind
Mm-hmm.
just externalizes. It doesn't like the typical
Blame
reaction.
others.
The
Is
typical
that what it is?
yes, that's what I mean, right? So exactly. So it doesn't typically do a whole lot of self-examination at that
Mhm.
point. It's just like, hey, what? Come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so the problem, and
Mm-hmm.
first of all, it's considered a problem, and that's an indicator right there. Number
Mhm.
one,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is that you're being a party pooper,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And why is she doing that,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the deal?
Mm-hmm.
So it just becomes it's a externalization, not a self-examination necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a story, like I can tell a story about the situation,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we typically do. What's normal for humans is for life to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then we tell a story about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Certain facts are going on around us, and we're part of it. Um, there's certain facts that are there,
Mm-hmm.
but the way we perceive it is an entirely different story,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the perception that comes in here, and it's like, hey, Satomi's being a party pooper again, or whatever, right? And so, and that I've built up this story about Satomi being a party pooper,
Mm-hmm.
and then I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot that's going on, and it happens very quickly. It can be built on when you're rumbling around about the things in your mind, right? You can add to it, but it can also happen very quickly in the moment. So life happens, and then we tell a story about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all, interacting in the moment right there. And then I just start telling a story about, oh, Satomi's being a party pooper. That's my story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I react to the situation
Mm-hmm.
instead of, if I'm doing that, and then I act, or then problems start to occur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were trying to say, or is that sit beside what you're trying to say?
It's same. Yeah,
And I'll
still
push
talking.
back. I'll resist. Right, that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes, that's what happened on the surface.
Bad guy.
But I'm trying to explain what first mind does and what second mind does. That part is it's like which one, I don't know which one comes louder. Maybe that's like the volume, right? And which one you reacting out of. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Like when you're, hey, let's have fun, you are making action based on your first mind, the conscious mind. I want to do this, and right, and I say something, and then boom, it's danger. She's gonna destroy this moment, and then a little bit fear comes, and then you are directly connected to subconscious mind trying to protect you from the danger that changes the situation. So you're reacting out of second mind, subconscious mind, and then fight or flight comes in, or anger comes in, fear comes in. Is that more clear?
I think so. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I think
so
that helps. Yeah, for sure.
So that's the change, right?
Yeah.
Which
So
one-
then the subconscious mind is just acting out of protection, right? It's just protect, keep things the same. So it's going to do whatever it feels is appropriate to achieve that. And it's got very powerful tools at its disposal.
Right.
It's connected to so much emotion and everything going on, right? Memory and everything else, and our habits. So like my habit would be, somebody's raining on my parade here, pooping on my party. I'll stick with that, I guess. My normal habitual reaction is to resist, right? So I don't even notice the fear part necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
And I just start resisting, going almost instantaneously to that, right? So that's the habit that I formed as a response to the fear. The fear of things going wrong.
Yeah. You might not feel fear, but you get angry.
Yeah.
And you get you resist.
Yeah.
Toward to my thoughts, what I'm sharing, and you resist, and you get angry. Yeah, that's the feeling you feel, not a fear, right?
Yeah.
It's the anger is a mask of fear, but
so it's easy, like what we were saying earlier, it is easy for someone to think that that's all one person just shifting attention from this to that, right? The fun time to the possible fight, right? It's not fight, but it's just, it's all like the imagination goes crazy in that moment if we've got some kind of history, right? And so it's happened so quick, and that's because it happens so quickly, right? And we don't necessarily break it down. Like some people don't really necessarily break down that underneath all anger is fear, right? There's something there. There's a step that comes before the anger, even if the anger comes on super quickly, right? There is first of all, there's always a fear, but then breaking it down even more than that, it is helpful to understand that it is an entirely different mind. The subconscious it operates in a very different way from the conscious mind, right? So the conscious mind is used to accumulating facts and analyzing things and problem solving and coming up with decisions. Very good with that. Subconscious mind is not. It is not good at making decisions. Or coming up with new solutions. It's not good at that. What it is good at is awareness, and connected.
Awareness of what's happening
right now. Yeah, just right now. Yeah,
just surrounding.
Yeah,
more than we know.
Yeah,
the subconscious is like 40 million bits every second or something.
It's crazy.
The subconscious mind receives the information, 40 million bits or some crazy number.
It's crazy number like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It processes way more information than this conscious mind. So all the stuff, like for example, just reading body language. We do not think about body language. It can come to our awareness in some fashion in our conscious mind, but all of our, in the moment response to it, it's all happening subconsciously. I mean, watch soccer players on the field, right? Or hockey players or football players or whatever, right? Or just gymnasts, right? The gymnast is not thinking about all the moves that she's making, right? That is not how it works. That's the subconscious mind, right? So it speaks a very different language, your subconscious mind, right? And I think we'll get into that in an upcoming episode. Didn't want to focus on that so much today,
Okay.
but that's just worth mentioning. Yeah. So, um, so what does this mean? Why are we talking about this? Well, first of all, it's kind of fundamental to our human experience, right? The example we're talking about here, I think a lot of people can relate to. And, but you can also switch the context, right? And so it's actually kind of fundamental to our ongoing experience of every moment of every day. So, in other words, we want to do something, but the world is what it is, and we can get frustrated with it, and we can push back against it. We can resist it. When we're doing that, it's helpful to be aware that there's another voice in the room that's making decisions. It's not necessarily us, because that voice is going to affect the outcome of what we actually do decide on doing, and what solution we come up with in the moment, and how we behave. So that voice is a subconscious. It wants things to be the same. It wants to keep us safe. That's always its motivation. And whenever there's something that comes along that might rock the boat, we can have our little tantrum. So that applies to our day, all day long. And that's why we talked just the other week about gratitude, because that's a way of cutting across that. And maybe we can come into that again later today. But because if you're staying in that resistance mode, resistance to what's going on, it's not healthy for us to be unaware of where the resistance is coming from. That's your subconscious, not you, your conscious mind, not your the one that you would like to be, the person that you would like to be. It's not coming from there. It's coming from just your desire to avoid danger. So, and in the subconscious. So, if we want to change the program, if we want to, because living that way is is not a happy life, right? It's disempowering, because we're responding to the world around us. We're reacting to it, and we're trying to force a way through it of our will, by will. We're not responding to life in a way that allows us to learn. And that gets in our way, and that can keep us stuck in patterns where we end up just on this hamster wheel, right? So like the relationships in the past where I've done the similar kind of thing, and I've just let people have it, right? It's not very good for those relationships, and they get burned up, right? I don't want to just keep repeating that cycle over and over again, being unaware of what's really going on. To break the cycle, to have a happier life, I need to have that awareness and work with the tools to make progress and to create the change that I want, right? So that's the point. Am I being really clear here? So basically, you've heard some of. I'm trying to break it down a little more, instead of just using what could be like a kind of new age cliche, and say, don't resist, right? No resistance. You've probably heard that. But there's a reason for that. It's fundamental to our life. And I'm trying to break it down here into and having the understanding that there's two minds that are creating, and it's the second mind that's creating the resistance. It's that elephant in the room that we're not even aware of necessarily, or we know how to work with. And because of that, because it's so powerful, it's in the room all the time, it's motivating us going this way or that, and we're kind of like just riding out the results, and that can be a very unhappy experience. So it's much better to have that awareness and to step back, as we talk about, right? So and we have talked about this before, but it's worth mentioning here in this situation. It's much better to know that there is that other voice, that it is the subconscious. It's better for me to, instead of when the party pooper thing is happening, that scenario is happening, it's better for me to recognize what's actually going on is that I am probably, maybe Satomi's right. Maybe, maybe she's for once wrong. But
that in that situation, no, I have never experienced me picking up the wrong thing.
No, I know. No, I know that, right?
But some other situation maybe, but this one.
But my old programming, my old way, my old habitual way is you're like, forget it. You're just coming out of nowhere with this, and it doesn't fit, right? With my experience here, but I've learned over time that's not really correct. I'm just not aware of the dynamic that's going on, right? I'm getting carried away with myself. I'm getting caught up in ego one way or another, right? And so you give me a little reality check, and I can be kind of blah, right, as a result. So it's better, though, and I've done that, and it's not been good. It's better for me to step back and to slow things down a little bit. And instead of just going into the same habitual response of resisting and pushing back against externalizing the issue and projecting it on you and saying, and then creating the story of the situation, instead of doing all that, I can, first of all, understand that that voice is coming from my subconscious, the fear of the boat being rocked, and say, okay, I heard that voice. That's cool. Thank you, fear, for being aware. I appreciate you, raising the red flag here. But you know what? It's just Satomi. How bad can it be?
I don't have a knife in my hand or rifle in my hand or
exactly.
whatever.
It was a little tap on the shoulder and a sweet little mention of, are you being aware right now? Right, and then going off, right, doing your thing, and you're gonna go work on something, right? Something in the house, maybe make dinner or something, right? And have dinner ready for me without hopefully me not showing up being all angry, right? So it's better for me to recognize where that's coming from and to work with it. So how do you work with it? What would be your suggestion? What's the best way? What's a good way? A healthier way, instead of just reacting and projecting and creating stories and then getting caught up in my anger and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so like you were saying, be aware when that urge of anger or frustration or the negative energy, when it just comes, boom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When it comes, as much as you can, just be aware. Ooh, that's came. And the more you practice, you can feel it, and you can catch it like you're catching a ball, right? That's happening here, but all of a sudden I'm carrying this heavy ball in my hand, right? I was having fun. I said, boom, right? What's this, right? If you practice, you can separate, and it becomes more, you can say visible or feelable, or you will be aware, right? And then you feel heavy and okay, why I'm carrying this, right? And that is subconscious mind is saying that you have to do something, you have to protect yourself, and something happening, something is changing, right? And then okay, but this is heavy. I don't want to keep. If you keep listening to the second mind, that means you keep carrying this heavy ball, right? Like those medicine ball, it's so heavy, right? Not just a belly ball, it's heavy ball, right? Or like a metal ball or whatever, that really heavy feeling. And then you're going to keep carrying it as long as you keep listening to that fear. Do I want to? Like, just imagine carrying this, what's this heavy ball? What would be the heavy ball?
Medicine ball.
Medicine ball,
Yeah.
right?
Or a cannonball.
Yeah, cannonball, right? That it depends how big your anger is. You might be carrying a cannonball, right? And just imagine you carrying that. You're gonna be tired, of course, right? You're not doing anything good for you. Unless you are training with medicine ball, sure, you are building your muscle, but no, you're not doing that. You're not in that kind of situation. You're just carrying it and then being heavy. And so if you become aware, oh, I'm carrying this, you can put it on the floor. You don't have to carry it. You can choose to just put it on the floor, right? You can just let go of the cannonball, so you're not carrying it. It's like just being aware. Okay, it's something came up from the subconscious mind. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on the side and see what happened, right?
What just happened a moment ago when you tapped on my shoulder or something, right?
What happened?
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like especially when you just start practicing this, it can be tricky, but at least, okay, I'm not carrying, like we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, like if you're carrying the negative energy, negative feeling, you are the one who's getting hurt this moment.
Yes.
Nobody else.
Yes.
Right? Yes, if you show anger at somebody, you get angry at me, and then you might be able to hurt me, but it's up to me to get hurt or not. Right? But what's really happening for sure is you are burning all those negative energies through your body, going around, you're hurting yourself. That is for sure, 100%. And you don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And so put that aside. Okay, what can I do if I want to do something different, right? Sometimes you don't want to do anything different. You want to get angry. Okay. That happens sometimes. It's okay. You don't have to be 100% perfect from day one, right? But just try knowing that it's hurting you. And like he said, I'm not having a knife pointing at you right now. Your life is not in danger. I'm just saying, hey, you're gonna be a little more aware. That's not gonna kill you. Right? But subconscious mind, like, oh my god, I have to resist this, right? That's what's happening, and that's why you get angry. And so the logical mind might know this tiny thing doesn't have to be. It's not worth getting angry. If you're becoming a little more aware, logically it makes sense why I got so angry, right? But still, I still get angry. I still get frustrated. I hear that a lot. So that's, you are becoming aware. That's a sign that you're becoming aware, and that's good. And then, right, and then.
So even that difficult, unpleasant thing is a little tiny step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's in it, and then that and tiny, but very important.
Very important.
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the next step would be like you just, okay, I don't need to carry this medicine ball, cannonball right now because I'm the only one who's suffering and having pain carrying this, right? So, and then you become aware and then you are able to put it down. And once you put it down, you separate the fear of pain from you, and you can start to think, right? And when you're like this, you can't think. But when you're like this, because you're carrying this, if you're carrying this heavy ball, you cannot really think. It's all the stuff, all the energy is going here to just carry it. But you don't have to carry it. You just let go, right? And then your muscle can relax. Your mind can relax. You start to think, and then, what did Satomi mean? Is she trying to fight? Is she complaining and she's being mad? And she didn't look like she was mad, maybe a little bit frustrated. So why is that? And then you can start to think a little bit, and then Satomi is always thinking about me. She never tried to destroy me. She never tried to try to deny me. She is
or
always
manipulate, or
she doesn't manipulate.
Trying to push your way onto things.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like
not just doing it to get her way.
She doesn't want to. She's never tried to control anybody. Those thoughts might come up when you let go of this medicine ball and you relax, and then okay, maybe I was getting carried away. That kind of thing can come in, and you can maybe I was, but I'm not sure, but maybe kind of thing, right? Then if you are there, you're not mad anymore, right? And you're not hurting yourself, and you're not hurting a relationship. You're just looking forward and to adjust situation, and then you are looking for a way to connect to yourself, that kind of thing. It all happens, and then subconscious mind, by that time it's quieting down, because you are not carrying this fear anymore, pain anymore, and you let it off from your shoulder, from your arm. You put it down, so you're not reacting out of fear. Right? It's okay. I'll just put it down, and I'm still fine. I'm not dead. I'm still alive. Right? You just want to prove that you are still alive to subconscious mind when you change something, right? You didn't listen to the subconscious mind fear. Okay, it's okay. I'm just gonna put this fear aside, and you put that aside, and then you're still okay, right? You're not in danger. You're not.
I just want to say one thing. For me, it's been very important not to push the fear away. That's not what you meant, I know, but like, just wanted to clarify there.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't fight with the fear, don't try to push it away, don't try to deny its voice. Let it say its thing.
Mm-hmm.
and then ask what the message, what it is you want me that it wants you to hear, because it's coming from your subconscious, right? So what is, okay, so please let me know what it is that the concern is. Okay, thank you for that. Now please come over here and sit beside me, and we'll work on this together, right? So include your fear in the process, instead of pushing it away, and that way then it's heard, its voice has been heard, so then it's okay with sitting down and taking a back seat, right? Because if it doesn't get heard, it wants to keep trying to grab the front seat, try to grab the steering wheel, right? So that's just one thing, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like a you can maybe imagine like a little kid, right? Got scared, oh no, right? And screaming, and you don't want the little kid, like I don't know what he's scared of, just for some reason going to this room or going to school like that. No, he's scared, and you can just pull that kid into the room, and he's going to resist and scream more and more and more. It's going to get bigger. Or you can, when the little kid starts to scream, what's going on? I'm scared going to school. Okay, I got it, but they are having lots of fun. They're going to play lots of games. They're going to sing songs, and they're going to run around, and they play tags, and those things. Oh, really? That sounds fun. Maybe I can go. Okay, I'll take your hand. Let's go in together. That kind of thing, right? So resisting and pushing away, and then, right, that's like make subconscious noise bigger, and then you are just keep reacting and reacting. But once you just listen, okay, I heard the alarm, bing, 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 bing. I heard the scream, what's that? Yeah, okay, there's a little danger because it's a little bit different, but okay, thank you for the warning. But let's see what happens, right? If we can do that, and then you're not reacting out of fear, out of anger, then things gets better, right? So that's the second mind, always watching out.
And then what do you do from there?
And what do I do from there? Once I recognize the second mind, and after I put that heavy ball.
So we've already started the process here.
Yeah.
I know we haven't gone to a lot of steps yet, but what's the essential, these first steps are the most essential. So that's why we're spending time on them, is that by listening to the fear, you are accepting, and whether tacitly or explicitly, I don't know which one in your case, but you're accepting the voice of the subconscious. You're listening to it. So that's working with your subconscious already, and in a very, very healthy way. So you're not pushing it. You're not trying to fight it. And I'm not trying to fight Satomi. I'm not trying to fight my subconscious. Let's work together on this. Let's recognize that there's a valid voice here. In this case, it's fear, and that's from your subconscious. So let's work together on this, and we'll sort out this problem, whatever it is, right? And think through it. So did you want to say another step? Or?
So once you get there, you are.
That's an enormous thing.
Yeah, that's big, and then there's lots of different ways to deal with the situation, right? Just like you were saying, being grateful for the subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is accepted and recognized.
And you can do that. You can say, thank you for
the warning.
Thank you for the warning. Thank you for looking out for for my
Yeah.
well-being and keeping us safe, keeping me safe here. So then I think a healthy thing, I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or not, but for me, it's like, well, does Satomi have a point, right? Or is she just being
Me.
party pooper, mean party pooper, right? Does she have a point? So that's where the turning point is for me, to start working with it more logically, in a more analytical way. I've gotten past the emotional reaction, the fear reaction, that stuff. I'm past that point, and I can start to work with it and say, well, does she have a point? Is there some message in the situation for me to work with, right? So what, and then what is it, right? You know, obviously in the example we talked about here, there's some history, and you've given me similar messages in the past. So it's up to me to start working with that message at that point, right? And to make adjustments, which I can do. Not always successful, but you know, that's the way it is. But that's what it is to go into new territory, and that's what we're talking about here. Is new territory. We can never expect everything to go swimmingly, right? It's going to be a little bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
So, and that adventure, there's going to be trips and misdirects and all that kind of stuff, and slip backs, all that kind of stuff. But that's okay. And we forgive ourselves and be gentle with ourselves through that process, and be gentle with the people who are in our lives, right? And not just to project onto them all that fear that we're talking about. So having the recognition of the different voices is a critical first step, and working in this direction, working logically, is what comes after that, and you can then have a reasonable conversation with the other people involved, hopefully, and I have been able to successfully shift my behavior away from automatically just not being aware of the subconscious, and just having that invade the conversation, the way I'm being, and just dictate my habits. I'm just unconscious here, and I'm just going through things, not even thinking about it, not being aware that there is two voices here. And then once you become aware of the two different voices, and we're gonna get into this more in later episodes, but having that awareness of those two different voices is that first starting point. That it's not just us switching and changing our minds.
Yeah, and then like the more you become aware and more you experience, and being aware of two minds and second mind, and especially when second mind is in fear, right? And then you can communicate with the second mind. It's okay. You don't have to have fear. I get that it was in the past, this wasn't pleasant, but now in this situation, it's okay with this person. It's okay. I don't have to carry the fear. So subconscious mind, it's okay. We can let go of this fear, right? And then that second mind doesn't get activated as often. And then it's more like become aligned with the first mind, subconscious mind. The second mind is more relaxed. Instead of fight or flight mode all the time, it can be relaxed in this situation, and now you are practicing more, and it can be relaxed and feeling safe in this situation. And now this situation is still tough, so I'm going to practice more, right? So it can, you can grow and be more centered and aligned. Two minds, we have two minds, but we're talking about the second one, being fear, is the danger one, right? So, but we can change, and doesn't have to have the fear and second mind all the time. It can be smaller and smaller and smaller the more we practice, right? So that's
through that process, it does get easier. And I just wanted to touch on one tiny little thing quickly, that it's not just about the example that we talked about here. this situation is universal in our life, if we think about it.
Yeah.
And so it can come up in relationships, it can come up in our workday, it can come up in our, even just, dealing with traffic, right? It can come up with
health.
It can come up with our health. It can affect our health. It comes up in our work with clients, right? This is what happens all the time working with clients. And sometimes things, sometimes clients can work with it, and sometimes they have trouble with that, right? So it's about, if I've learned anything over time, it's humility, because I thought things were a certain way. I could certainly think of Satomi and convince myself as this bad guy, right? As coming up with this story and get lost in the story, externalizing it and resisting the situation, and I create a story. She's the bad guy, I'm the good guy, and get totally into that. It does not help me. I end up in a bad situation every time I do that.
Yeah, you're just making it
or anything remotely similar to that. So when if we can somehow be cued into that, like if we can catch ourselves with the good guy, bad guy thinking, this is probably what's actually going on underneath, right? Life happens, and then we tell a story about it, and that's the dynamic that's always going on around us, and it's so critical for making progress to make the switch out of that situation and break out of that pattern. And we'll talk more about this in upcoming episodes. So if you guys are working with this stuff and you find it difficult, it's because of limiting subconscious beliefs. It's because of past trauma, or it's because of an ingrained way of dealing with the world, just habitual of us, thinking things are a certain way and getting carried away with it. Now, that voice of fear, we can talk about this maybe in the upcoming episode, can mask itself in all different ways, and it can come up. For me, it comes up as that anger, right? I get frustrated and angry. That's my thing. But other people, and in the past, I've done it other ways. There are other masks that fear wears. So being aware of that, what's going on, and understanding that it's from the elephant in the room, and then starting to work with it in the way that we mentioned today, can make all the difference, right? So if that's what's going on, if you're having trouble with it, it's limiting subconscious beliefs that are getting into the picture. If you want to work through them, just come to our website, schedule a breakthrough session with us, and we'd be happy to help you with it too, because this is fundamental to where we want to get to versus where we're stuck. We're stuck in these kind of patterns. This is what is making people unhappy in their lives, is the dynamic we're talking about here. It's fundamental. Everything. Resisting the world around us and not understanding where the voice is actually coming from, and then building a story out of the whole thing that it's the other person's fault. This happens all the time. So you can schedule a session with us, or we might just be unhappy with the results and not be aware of any connection to the other stuff that's been going on in our life, right? I've been in all of these positions myself in the past. Still working through it in certain degrees in other ways, right? It's always a process. And then if you can come by our website, you can schedule a breakthrough. You can send us a message and just ask us a question by email here, or we can see you next week, right here, next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Ether, and we'll continue the conversation. I think next week we might be doing the special,
the Halloween special.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Deciding it right now.
Are we deciding it right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
our
annual mediumship and connecting with the people who've crossed over, right?
Same time, Sunday, 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So Halloween special mediumship. So come by, join us, and let us know. Just
send us an email with any questions that you have, right? If you have a question, if there's somebody out there that you'd like to connect with, send us a picture of that person, with the questions that you have.
It's easier. You don't have to, but it's easier because different spirit comes, and if you want to connect to a specific one, it's easier for me to connect if I have picture. If
Of you and the person,
yeah,
ideally.
if yeah,
Not necessarily together.
Don't need a person.
Just you want the person there
for the other side.
on the other side.
It's easier. So yeah, you can just send it ahead of time, or you can just join and curious who's showing up and you want to connect to this person or whatever. I'll do my best. I don't know how many are joining, and I'm not promising and guaranteeing that everybody's going to get able to connect to someone who wants to connect, because it's just I'm just inviting whoever wants to show up. So, but let's do it.
Awesome. Mediumship's awesome. I love them. They can be like impish. They can be a little bit
What's impish?
like playing trick, like not tricks, but like they can be funny, right? They can send funny stuff. They can send very heartfelt and emotional stuff. It can be so beautiful, so much like the connection and the all that stuff and the closure, and mediumship is such a beautiful area. I love it. It is my favorite kind of reading. They're all amazing in their different ways, but it's those relationships with people and the ones that crossed over. It's just amazing.
So
So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, just spread the words. Invite your friends if you like.
Well, I put on the shop one. I meant to put on this, the contact one. I can't read here. So yeah.
So yeah, anyone's
send us an email there.
Okay. Anyone that is welcome. Just join us at 4 p.m. next Sunday. Eastern.
Right here on Easter. Till then, take care, everybody. Bless you. Bye bye.